Good morning, and welcome to another ostentatious episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. And now here's your jackanape of jurisprudence, Voice of Doom. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace, day by day, to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays light the fool the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, poor player that struts and frets across the stage and is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Just came up with that. It's just my mood today. I watched the news and not a whole lot of disasters, just impending disasters. Petri dish didn't do much stupidity, just the usual idiocy. So everybody can catch up and start ranting about all the recent disasters. But foremost and first in the news today would be subjects and incidents having to do with the justice system, which people have been ranting about for decades now. No justice, no peace. And there is no justice, and there is no peace, and there will be less and less peace. Because the justice system is no more. I mean, reparations need to be paid, and we are paying, and probably would have been easier just to cut a check, because allowing things to go the way they're going in order for retribution is not helping anyone. And I will give you examples of how the justice system has been perverted into a slimy pit of sin. Now, we had a verdict on an incident which was a heinous racist crime which every American, every person, citizen of the world should be indignant about. That a person of color of a certain sexual orientation should be attacked savagely in the middle of the night by goons who follow a demigod and treated as chattel. Jim Crow doesn't even come close. It was a modern day lynching, which turned out to be of his own making because he made the whole thing up, and it's been obvious from the beginning. It was obvious when the news came out. The moment it came out, it was obvious because it was just too much, too over the top. So anyone with half a brain, which I'm one of them, and I only use a little part of half of that brain, knows and knew that it was a fraud. And we watched as the MSM, whatever the heck you want to call them, went all to pieces about how unjust this country still is and how you're just not safe in the street at 3 a.m. on a snowy night in downtown Chicago. It's horrible. I mean, there's so many people killing each other, you could get caught by a straight bullet, so it's very dangerous. And that's MAGA country in Chicago. Downtown Chicago is just absolutely infested with conservative, red hat wearing racists. So you got to watch yourself there. But he was found guilty, and he will probably be sentenced with a strongly worded letter from the judge and a fine of $500. And he will probably immediately get a contract with Netflix. So his plan worked out perfectly. So he's really not that dumb. He knew he'd be famous. And he is. And he will go down in history as a civil rights pioneer because he very vividly and with very subtle performance art brought to light just how racist this country is. So we owe a debt of thanks to that person. So that was justice for you, and I'm sure the sentence will be harsh. He will probably end up having to wait in line to fill out some forms before he's allowed to leave the courtroom. So that will be punishment enough. Now, at the same time, I was watching a little wigwam confab of GOPs that are very indignant, and I'm sure they have a strongly worded letter all made out concerning the injustice of those dastardly insurrectionists. They would be crawling all over downtown Chicago, even as we speak, if they weren't rotting in a Washington, D.C. jail. Now, I heard a lot of atrocities that are going on in that jail, and I heard a lot of things that have to do with habeas corpus and due process that are not being followed, up to and including not being allowed to use the bathroom, not being allowed to have visitors because of COVID, not being allowed to see your lawyer because of COVID, not being allowed to go outside or have any free time, being in seclusion and being treated like the Count of Monte Cristo. And I think there's 60 of them still in jail since January, so I'm wondering why we aren't seeing trials. And I guess the Republicans want to wait until November, actually January, when they take over, and then they can get to the bottom of all that. But still, there's people in jail that, I think some of them are in jail just because they were in the Capitol at the time, January 6th, which is a day which will live in infamy, which will dwarf December 7th, 1941, will dwarf September 11th, 2001, will dwarf September 6th, 1939. It's the worst rebellion in the history of this planet, of all known recorded history. So all those people I guess they shouldn't be given trials. They're obviously guilty. They're treasonous and should get the full extent of the law. And I don't think the time they've already served waiting for their trial will, you shouldn't apply that to their sentence because their sins are too grave. So, since all that's going to happen is a strongly worded letter, I hear a lot of gawping about how unjust this is. And it's like, well, if it's unjust, get them out of there. What kind of country, well, whatever this used to be. Get them out of the jail. Why are they still in there? What's their charge? Who's being charged with what? And why are they being mistreated? Why are they being re-educated? I'll tell you why they're being re-educated. Because the powers that be, whether they're being proxied by teenagers that have no idea what they're doing, have decided that yes, those totalitarian regimes were the way to go, but we got to do it American style. We can't be too heavy-handed. We got to do it subtle. Frog in the pot of water. And you do it through the same means that was done in Nazi Germany. You have oppression. You have strict control, but no nationalism. So we get rid of that. You do it the same way as Stalinist Soviet Union. You have a lot of people taken away. A lot of people are killed one way or the other. And I won't say how. And then you have genocide a la China or Myanmar or Sudan by allowing deadly drugs to infiltrate this country and kill a lot of people. You have coercion into submission, such as we might have seen in 15th century Spain with the Spanish Inquisition. You do it by saying you are a racist. Admit you're a racist, otherwise you're no good. Admit you're a white supremacist or you're no good. Okay, I admit it, I'm a racist. I believe in white supremacy. Yeah, you see what a monster you are now? You see? You see how bad you are? There's no winning. Racism, justice, peace. No justice, no peace. Well, justice now means we want revenge for every wrongdoing since 1613 or whatever the hell year it was. We want reparations. And we'll take it out of Gucci and Versace, and we'll take it out of Walgreens, we'll take it out of Target, we'll take it out of high-end places. We'll take it out on our own people. We'll take it out on people that just look like they're too comfortable. We don't care who we take it out on. We want revenge. We want our big armload of crap that we can run out the door with impunity. That's justice. That makes a lot of sense because now the cities will be uninhabitable except for the junkies that are laying on the sidewalk. And the waifs and homeless children who will be gathered up, and who knows what will be done with them, but I could give you an idea and I'm not going to do it. Justice. We need to have real justice by handing down draconian measures to the people that we say are poster children for everything that was ever wrong with America, which means white supremacists. And the utter audacity of going into the Capitol and almost overthrowing the government. Those people came so close, they came within that close of having the entire U.S. government demolished. So no punishment is too harsh for them. But if people really believe that there's injustice, or justice for some, or no justice for others, or justice where it's over justice, immune dependent enhancement of justice, where we're going to punish you until you can't be punished anymore. That's the kind of justice we want in America. Well, just wait until they come after you, because you'll be in line sooner or later. Because if you have any kind of independent thought, which luckily 99% of the population do not, you will be dealt with. You will be put into a re-education camp. You will be starved. You will be isolated. You will be indoctrinated and re-educated by hook or crook until you admit you're a racist, and then you will be vilified and reviled and thrown to the wolves. So it's a good justice system we have now. I think I kind of made my point. I didn't say a whole hell of a lot, but I think I did. No justice, no peace. I'll go along with that. Don't have justice. I don't think I've ever seen justice. Not in a political sense. Never seen anyone get their comeuppance. But that's all good, because 2022 is coming up. It'll be a horrible year. America will receive the karmic retribution for every sin we've done in the last 400 years. So we can look forward to that. And I'll leave you on that cheery note. Didn't say much, I'm sorry. Just keep the faith, baby.